It's also one of those things.
I've been doing this several decades.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, they've had me present to several regional conferences.
Times now. Policy where I find out that.
All right, I'm calling meeting to order at 7:00. I'm gonna start with the roll call. Please say you're here if you are here when I call your name. Ken Roman. Here. Gordy Anderson. Here. Dennis Olson.
Here.
Matt Boswick is here. Mary Beth Tillmans is not at the meeting. She is on Zoom on the computer. Paul Ellers. Here. Jesse Casino.
Jesse is here.
All right, if I could have you stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Minutes of the previous board meeting.
I move we accept the minutes of the previous board meeting.
Oh, sir.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. Clerk's report.
Mary Beth says that she's enjoying her time, but we got the taxes are all done and the settlement payments just went out today. So the town is, all of our bills have been paid.
Great.
All of our money's gone.
The treasurer's report.
I'll move that we accept the treasurer's report.
I'll second that motion.
The motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. No opposed. Board comments?
I've got one, the DNR has officially approved us as an E-Cycle Wisconsin collector registration place. So Tasha has a lot of good information out there when you go to the recycling center. We'll still take what we always took, but some stuff will only be $5 now instead of $25. So it's gonna save the residents a lot of money. I'll also put something on the website so you kind of know, but we're still gonna take everything we took before, just some things are gonna cost what they used to cost, and any electronic stuff is gonna only be $5. So we're approved and all ready to go, and she's already been collecting things.
All right, thank you.
Also, there's a webcam installed at the airport, and we're going to probably create a YouTube channel to house the information, and then we'll have a link from the website. So if you want to check the weather conditions at the airport, you'll be able to do that.
All right, thank you. Any other board comments? Correspondence? Committee reports? Sanitary district? Mark, do you have anything?
Yep. We've been meeting, trying to get to the bottom of exactly how much waste is coming in here from other townships, unbeknownst to us all, as I mentioned at our last meeting here. And I met with our attorney today, and The sanitary district, the way it is configured today, has an assessed valuation, equalized value of $19.4 million, and I can assess them up to 5% if I need to put this plan together. That's my last resort, but I could do that. Or we can issue a bond. I talked to, our attorney is Mr. Carlson in Washburn, and he can do a general obligation bond for $650. Because last time we did a bond, we had to go through a big firm in Milwaukee, and I bet it cost $10,000 in 1989. The other thing we can do is we can change our user fee ordinance. And when the people apply for a sanitary permit for the town of Bell or Bayfield County, we may be able to put a fee on there for the town of Bell. Right now, if a new person comes into the existing boundaries of the sanitary district and wishes to hook in, it costs them $7,500. So we may be able to do something similar as part of the permitting process. And that might actually accomplish two goals. They might think that's too high and put a mound in, or a septic, a septic system. So I think that might accomplish two goals. That's a possibility. The more I think about it, to be honest with the board, we need to continue to go ahead on this. We're going to get at least $2.1 million free. The prices are not going down, and we'll never get a 0% interest rate for 20 years again. So I think it would be foolish for us to abandon this idea, as we will be needing it at some point in the future anyway. So does anyone have any questions? Okay.
All right, thank you. Public comment period? Public comments? All right, we will go right into old business. We had a request for funding for senior meals. Somebody, were you here to speak on that?
Yes, I was here.
Oh, no, I mean, did you have anything else now for that?
No.
No? Okay. Did everybody get that proposal or email or something? No? Okay, well, I will read what the request is to the town board. There's one of three options is what they would like us to ultimately decide on, if that is our choice. The first would be to replace the canceled state funding for the senior meals of $2,500. Or the second choice would be a lump sum donation of $1,500. That's based on the 2026 projected number of qualified meals served, which would be 1,000 meals at $1.50 increase in cost per meal. Or the third choice that they were asking for is they will submit a monthly statement to the town of Bell that reflects the actual qualified meals served each month, which would be a donation of $1.50 per meal. Is that correct?
Yes.
So basically, it's asking for $2,500 to replace the canceled state funding, $1,500 which would be a lump sum donation to cover the 2026 projected meals served, or basically a monthly donation from us based on what they actually served. Is that a good summary?
Yes.
Okay. And they did make the presentation last month regarding this, but this is our discussion time. So, who would like to start?
We need a motion to talk or not?
It would be best.
Yeah, I guess I personally would rather help you guys raise the $2,500, Donna. Than have the town, start down this path. That's, that's where I'm at with that.
I guess, has there been any attempt at finding other sources of revenue,
I
Donna?
think we should probably have a motion. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem like anybody wants to make one, so if you wanna make one, we'll discuss. If not, we'll move on.
Well, I'll move we replace the $2,500.
I'll second that.
The motion is made and seconded. What's the discussion?
Well, to repeat what I just said, I'm just wondering if any efforts, I think I know the answer to this, but have you tried to raise any funding to help cover these the downfall?
Well, I think that's what I'm asking for.
I mean, from other sources other than the town.
No, not at this time.
You haven't gone to private sources or anything?
Not yet. Yeah. That's my intent. And I have had a couple private parties say they'd like to help out. The seniors, when you come to a meal, it's asked for a donation of $3 to $5. And because we all have our own pride and dignity, they do chip in and do that. But with the rising cost of food and also the cut in our funding, that $1.50 represents that increase in cost. So my intent is to try to find other funding as well, but right now, this is where I started.
Yeah, I guess my concern with this is just, we haven't budgeted for it, kind of just hit us by surprise, kind of, and we didn't have a chance to look at it when we budgeted, and we could have.
Yeah, I just, I'm a function of government kind of a guy. And this is a worthy cause, there's no doubt about that. I know some of the area churches have benevolence funds. I'm not sure how well heeled the churches are. I personally would be willing to write you a check myself, not for a whole $2,500, obviously. But I guess I'm just not comfortable with this being a town expense. We're giving the space for free. And I really think that's.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't think this falls on the town from the standpoint that it doesn't impact everyone. It does impact a fair number. But I think we need to look at the taxpayer too. But I think a lot of this shortfall could be met by private sources within the community. I think that would be a better place to look initially, and if
Well,
you can't do that,
the
then
suggested cost is $3 to $5.
Yeah.
I always thought it was $5, but would it make a big enough difference if we said, please make a donation of $5 to $7?
well, I mean, you're hitting the people that maybe can't afford it.
Well,
That's the downside of that. But
yeah, that's very true, but then maybe everybody will just boost it a little bit.
Yeah, they might.
If we beg them or
if
something.
it's that important, they may.
I don't disagree with that, but that's really not the discussion. We're not being asked to set the
No.
donation price. We're being asked to
Okay,
give them money or not, basically.
okay.
So let's keep it to that.
Mhm.
So how many private contributors do you have so far?
None.
None.
I shouldn't say that. There are people who do throughout the year throw in extra money. And as I mentioned in my presentation, I do not keep track of who comes when they come in to pay for a meal. I don't keep track of who pays for a meal or not. We can't do that under our regulations of this program. So bottom line of it, but I do know that we have had people who've chipped in some extra money here and there. But no, I have not gone after private. I have a couple of people who have approached me recently and said they would like to help out. But what that looks like, I don't know yet.
Is there any more discussion? Are you still good with your motion?
Pardon?
Your motion
Yeah, I made a motion to replace the $2,500.
to fund the 2,500.
Yeah.
So is there any more discussion? I think if we vote yes on this, if it does pass, that we should, I would like to add that it will be revisited. This will be a one-time thing, and it's not intended to be an ongoing thing. But again, that's not part of the motion, that's just my comment. So if there's no more discussion, the motion to fund the $2,500 has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say aye. Aye. Did you vote yes?
I didn't vote.
Jesse abstained, so everybody else voted no. All right, thank you. Number 2 on old business is installing additional streetlights. Jesse, that was your research.
I got a straight answer when somebody wanted, I was asking next time you do the estimate. So I finally got an estimate from the select code chief, I got an estimate. And it is still a little bit vague. I'll just read it to you. Okay, it says there would likely be a small installation cost, a few $100s for the pole on the site on Michigan, on each side of Michigan Avenue. And I'm guessing that $200 is, you have to, that pole that's there is being broken, I think they have to replace that. And that's part of one of the reasons I hadn't got any information from how they probably have to explain. In my eyes, my opinion is I think $200 is basic, well, they own the streetlights. The town doesn't own the streetlights, the town just gets a flat rate of payment from Exelon. So that's the estimate.
And I saw in the email that they're looking for an okay from us to send it to their design department.
That's the guy that is in charge of where to put things. And I think there was a typo here on that, because it said something about, let's see, well, if it's okay with you, just let me know and we'll get it says we will get a job over, but I think they meant job order, because they also have to have a job order for everything, obviously. But they're gonna get that designed so they can start work on the installation. If the town board approves the costs.
So do you want to make a motion to that effect?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Can you repeat the amounts on that again? I couldn't catch it.
It says it'd be a small cost to the project, about a couple $100 for the pole, for the power pole.
Okay, and then it's just monthly?
Yep.
Monthly fee?
Mhm. That's what all the
Yeah.
streetlights have.
Did you second it?
I haven't, I
No.
will.
Well, somebody?
I'll second.
Okay.
I'll second. I just couldn't.
All right, the motion has been made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. New business. We have parking for potential ice cave visitors. We have like 10 different facets to this situation. The first thing we probably should consider is what where we are gonna have people park. So here's a plan that I already started, because this all came about obviously within the last month. So when we were contacted by the Park Service saying that this was a potential for this to happen, I had the town crew plow out a couple spots in town so that it could freeze down if we want to use them for parking areas, one being behind the community center and the other is the lakefront. I'm sure everybody's seen that. And along with that, I started thinking we need to charge to park. And I thought the best way to do that would be to try and do it electronically with a code system. And so I had a presentation put together from somebody that designed that setup for us. So I guess I would like to, see where we're at with the parking situation. Does everybody agree that those two parking locations would make sense for the sake of our discussion tonight? Okay, so with that being assumed, I think we should talk about the payment system, or if we're gonna pay, how we're gonna pay. I talked to Brett and Whitney, they're here to talk to us about what they did and how we can do this. I guess if everybody is on the same page, that's kind of the assumption we're making right now, before we make a decision, if we could have them tell us how they came up with this and how it would work. If you guys want, Brett or Whitney.
Sure, yeah, so that came to us looking for basically a parking solution. We came up with a digital online payment solution that I think everybody's familiar with. QR codes now, you see them on a sign, you scan them, you tap the link, it takes you to a checkout screen or wherever basically, but this would take you to a checkout screen. And we have a payment processing system that we can have hooked up very quickly, and so that basically the town could post signs at these parking locations. The customers would scan the code, they'd be brought to the checkout page. The pricing can be set obviously whatever you'd like. I think $5 is what was first thrown out. I think if it is anything like last time, this would be considered event parking and you could get at least $10. But yeah, and so we have the payment processor picked out, which is Stripe. It has the lowest fees. And if you would like, it could be totally hands-off. We could manage the payment processor from the back end, make sure that the money is going into the town account, provide a detailed monthly transaction report, field any issues that might come up. If somebody, double charged, we could issue refunds. The pricing can be easily adjusted on the back end. The codes don't need to be replaced that are already put out there. We can set it up to be a static price. There's also, we can do it donation based. We can do a code where the customer, we can do a suggested price of like $20 and the customer can adjust whatever they'd like to donate. That's kind of off of like actual parking prices, but that's just the capability that's there. Any questions?
Just to add to that a little bit, I did some research on the best pricing to do for an event like this in our area and everything. It was suggested $10 is the price for an event for we know the parking around the area is typically $5 to $6, but for an event, at least $10 is what I would recommend. And then we also built the back end where we could move forward with other opportunities for the town if they would like to move forward with this idea for donations or things like that. And I have some samples, like some signs that we could do. They have a barcode on it that scans, it would take you to a donation page. You can donate as much or as little as you want from that, but just from some different options here. We did mention once about pre-paying for parking. I'm going to suggest against that, and the reason is because if you pay for it up front, they're going to need a space. And I think with the chaos that could happen, I don't think we can guarantee that that person will have a space and we're gonna have to manage that license plate and stuff. I think we're gonna get too difficult for the short amount of time.
We'll get to that, yeah.
Okay, but just some.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, yeah. Okay, pass. Was there anything else you guys wanted to mention? There'll probably be a couple questions, but that was,
You can scan that code and make a donation to my bank account. It does work, so if you wanted to try it out, you can see what the checkout page and everything would look like.
We tested to make sure everything was already working.
yes.
I have a question. I think this is a great idea. The Achilles heel is connectivity. We don't have a lot of cell phone tower capacity in this area. And I've noticed, especially in like peak tourism seasons, like on the 4th of July, sometimes it's very hard to make a data connection or a phone call. What is the manual fallback option should our communications infrastructure be overwhelmed and people cannot pay for parking?
There's the cash box that is what's always, available, but also you can note on the signage that the payment links, the payment processor links, they don't time out usually for about 24 hours.
Okay.
So once the customer does get service, they can refresh and submit the payment.
And just for the board, is there any way to compare, or, because I haven't been living up here since this has happened, but is there any way to compare the number of people who are coming to park with the number of people who pay to park? Or since is this the first time the town is suggesting to charge for parking for this?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so that's,
It's I guess to add a little information for everybody, because we're getting onto a lot of different subjects, but in the past, or at least the past time that this got really big, people parked at Myers Beach, people parked on the highway, people parked everywhere and walked and took shuttles and got rides, and it was a mess. So this year, I guess, a little bit more of an overview, the Park Service is not allowing anybody to park at Myers Beach. They're not gonna allow anybody to park on the highway. Everybody that wants to take an actual shuttle is gonna have to park in Cornucopia or at the Sand River sand pit, or at the casino in Red Cliff. So it's gonna push even more people here, which is,
What were the numbers? Do you remember the numbers from 14 years ago?
I have a bunch of different numbers, but I don't know if anything really matters because day to day it was different, weekends were different. The park had what their actual visitor was, I don't think what our visitor to the town is gonna be nothing compared to this time, potentially, because more people will have to come here, potentially, if that makes sense. Because people can't park at the
We're talking
location.
about 1,000 cars?
Well, I don't know how many we can fit. Matt, did you ever?
It all depends on how well organized we can get the parking spots laid out and what method we're gonna do for that. I mean, my go-to is paint. So we're trying to paint, just hopefully we're not getting snow. Because, well, I mean, what are you gonna do? We don't have time or resources to have a parking attendant to park each car. So my guesstimate on how many cars we can fit around here, 300, 350. If they're, we're talking including one side of Village Streets, we're gonna have a corridor around the community center basically. So Erie, Ash, Michigan, no parking on either side of the street for the shuttle buses and obviously for our fire department EMS access. But most of the other village streets would have one-way parking or one-side street parking. And then the organization we can get here at the community center and over by the lakefront would be the title.
Would we have QR codes on the city streets too, do you think?
Well, that's up to us to decide, but I don't think so because people that live here still have to park too. So it's kind of a hard thing to do, but that's up to
We're not gonna be able to enforce it, so we're just gonna have to hope that most people scan it.
Yeah, that was my question too. I mean, are there gonna be designated parking spaces, Matt? I mean, is that the
I'm gonna
intent?
do the best I can. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Again, it's just-
but anybody that has had to park cars unattended, is gonna take one idiot to screw it up. So that's gonna be the problem. I mean, we're gonna do the best we can. I don't know if it's gonna be cones and ribbons and lath or paint marks. I really do not know.
So on that, hang on a sec, on that topic, we had already discussed only passenger vehicles and no trailers in the parking areas. And, I was just gonna, there's another point, on the, I don't know if you mentioned this, but you enter your license plate number when you go to the app.
Yeah, right now, by default, email address is the only field that is required, but you can set custom fields on the checkout page to collect things like license plates, date of vehicle registration, basically anything you want that will force the customer, they'll have to enter something in that field before they can receive the checkout.
So that would be what I would suggest, is that if we do that, go that road, is to have them enter their license plate with their payment information. Doug?
Just for the physical enforcement, whether they paid or not, the person on the ground is not gonna know whether they paid or not.
No.
It's just almost like on your honor for them to do this.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Is there a charge to ride the shuttle?
yes. Would you like to speak on that?
Yes, Pat Dawes, manager of Bay Area Rural Transit, will be doing the shuttle. It's gonna be $5 each way, so a $10 round trip ride on the shuttle.
And when I initially talked to Brett and Whitney, I had used a $5 idea of parking, but after talking to everybody else, and then today I got some estimates for doing the porta potties, and we need to charge $10 per person to make almost $9 per car, I should say, to pay for the porta potties and drawing that we would need for this operation. And I can get into that too, but
I was glad you brought up porta potties, because I was concerned about porta potties.
so I guess, let's, I guess, maybe take a vote on approving the parking areas first. I think we got enough information to start somewhere, so I would make a motion that we use the areas that we've already designated and plowed, which would be the rear of the community center and the waterfront for our parking lots.
I will second that motion.
And the motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, say aye. There's no opposed. All right, now, should we charge a fee to park in those two locations?
I'll move that we charge $10 to park in those locations.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded. And did everybody read the email from them? So that, without doing the math, it's not gonna be exact, but it's almost $9 that we would make. So, and for some reference on that, when I got a few numbers from number 2 septic, and if we got 4 units, 4 porta potties, which would be 2 here and 2 at the waterfront, they would cost $110 per unit to rent. Basically for the whole time we need it, because that's for like, I don't know, 28 days or whatever it was, but it's longer than we're gonna need it. And it costs $65 per unit per service. So if they got serviced every day, basically that comes down to like $300 a day in charges for those. So in 2 weeks, if we did that $300 a day, that would be, well, and for each week, it would be $2,100 for porta potties, basically. So if we got 350 cars per week to pay the $9 that we would make, that would be $3,150. So basically, that comes out pretty good for us. I mean, that would pay for the plowing and for the porta potties and we're basically breaking even at that point. So any less on the cost and on the charge that we're incurring to the customer, we would not be making anything. So, for some reference. So it could be higher or lower, but I think that $10 actually worked out pretty honest.
Just to start.
Yeah, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, we might not have to get them pumped every day, but on the weekend.
Well, right, but the worst case scenario is that if we charge $10, we'll be breaking even,
Yep.
basically. And the number of cars is, we have absolutely no idea. So it's all a guess, but it's an honest attempt, I guess. So the motion is made and seconded to charge $10 per vehicle. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No opposed? All right, so now the type of payment. If we want to do the QR code, which I think is the best thing to do, we can still do a drop box of some sort. We might have to, but it would be optimum if most people paid that on the card, so we had less labor incurred to check boxes and do money and whatever. But so we need to decide to pay them what their not contract, but their proposal was, which was $750 plus
Plus 50 cents.
Yeah, 50 cents per transaction. So, I mean, I would recommend we go with that. We're kind of out of time anyway, but along those lines, part of getting this set up in my thinking was to down the road possibly, or I think we're eventually gonna have to, but sooner than later, is set something like this up, set this operation up at the campground and at the boat launch, both boat launches, to take payment the same way for those services too. So, and we can build on what they're doing and use that same type of thing to do it at other locations for other things. They also made a good, I think you had the flyer in your hand, but we'd hang up Cornucopia Fire Department donation signs, scan the QR code to donate to the fire department. We can use that anytime for this event, any event at the town hall, Corny Day, but using that same type of mentality, I guess, to do other things on top of this, I think would be also beneficial.
The $750 is a one-time, or is that an annual thing?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too.
That's
one time. One time?
And then there would be additional cost to build on that to do other things.
Right.
But that's the initial cost to get us set up with them. Am I explaining that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would make a motion that we accept that proposal for the QR code system for the parking.
I'll second.
It's a good way to recoup some of our costs.
So the motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed. All right, what else do we have to talk about with this?
Well, one thing I'm thinking about is, why not, if have these on, if it's possible to have some of these signs on the streets. There's no way to enforce, so if a local person doesn't wanna pay to park, there's nothing we can do about it, but I mean, I know people, and if $10 to park here, or it's free on the street.
Well, that's true, and I thought about that, but the pickup locations are at the parking lots. So I think people that don't wanna walk or don't wanna stand around are gonna wanna park there anyway, but I'm not necessarily against what you're saying either.
Well, they gotta walk a mile when they get to Myers Beach.
They hadn't figured that out by the time they get on the
Good luck. But yeah, so I mean, that would be a suggestion that we can kick around. But I'm just thinking, again, it's mostly honor system, it's mostly voluntary, and why not let the people who want to park on the street pay too?
Unless we prohibit them from parking there. But
Well, how are we gonna do that?
Yeah.
So we can't
We
enforce it.
can't enforce it.
Yeah.
but, I mean,
Obviously, we want the
Signage,
businesses, we want Superior Avenue from C
For
down to
business.
13 we need that for businesses, Justine may open, the store might open, I don't know what will be going on, but.
Do you have something, Brett?
I just wanted to make a suggestion or an idea. I did make a Town of Bell donation one, that maybe we could put that on the streets. So then it's not a parking, it's a donation if somebody wanted to help. Just a thought.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, so these are gonna be like on posts that you've,
That we have not decided on who's gonna make the sign. to be
Okay.
honest. I have some ideas, I presented some so people can get a visual.
Okay.
But that is separate. And we're willing to help with that if needed.
Okay, so, I guess, do you want to make a motion to that, or?
what, should we just, let you make those kinds of decisions without, because there's stuff gonna come up that the board is not gonna be able to have to decide on.
There is, but since we're talking about it, I'd rather have you make a decision, not me.
Well, I
Well,
move
if
we,
you wanna put a-
I move we put some of these QR code signs on the streets of Cornucopia, city streets of Cornucopia.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All's in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All's opposed, say aye. There's no opposed. Okay, did you have anything else on that? All right, let me see.
Can I say something to Matt?
Yes,
That the county is also not gonna allow any parking along County C in the village. Just because of the narrow, width of the road, so it would put all the additional parking not in the lots out of those streets.
Are they gonna put signage up for that, Matt?
Yes.
and as Matt and I discussed, and he mentioned it, but we are planning on no parking on Erie Avenue to Ash Street, and Ash Street from Erie to Michigan, and then Michigan Avenue from County C to Ash Street. So basically, around us, around this building, around to the fire hall and back to County C, is gonna be no parking for fire and for shuttles to get around here. I would also like to bring up that Bell Marina Road, which is the first road across the bridge going towards the lake, that is gonna be no parking, that whole little parking lot there, because that's gonna be a potential draft location for the fire department. And I also think we might wanna consider Lost Creek Road as a no parking road, because if people wanna end up trying to get out to the other ice caves, we don't want parking on that road for the fire department, for their draft point down there as well. So I think if there's not any other roads, Matt, can you think of any other ones for fire department?
No, but just in general traffic, Siskiyou Falls Road, the entirety
Oh,
of it,
Cisco Fault, yep.
because of the narrow width of it.
Yep, so those were the three roads that I wanted to consider and get board approval to have no parking on for this event. Yes.
What about the preserve, Siskowitz? Is that gonna be, I mean, are people,
Well,
you
in the park-
anticipate people parking there and filling up those lots, or are we gonna allow?
I mean, they can if they want to, that's not ours, I guess.
I was just wondering if that was gonna end up being
They've
a
got no
parking
shovel
lot
there,
too.
so.
Right. Yeah, I know the county had been talking about that, but they haven't told us anything about their plans up there. Other than they're not gonna plow the field and allow parking, we know that for sure. So anyway, I'm gonna make that motion that Cisco Falls Road, Bell Marina Road, and Lost Creek Road, I'll get no parking until I don't know, until this is over.
I'll say that.
All right, the motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. No opposed. All right. Matt, can you think of anything else on parking?
Not yet.
Is there a system or process in place where if an emergency decision has to be made, you can make it without getting in trouble?
Well, I think a lot of things that'll come up I can do.
Okay.
But these are the big ones that I think we needed to make decisions on. We do have another meeting with everybody involved, including the Park Service, on Thursday. Also, the sheriff is coming up here. I want us to meet with them on Thursday morning too, and we're gonna go over more emergency service access and whatever else, so we're trying to get all that stuff in order. So
Matt mentioned the LZ up there at the, by the recycling center too.
we followed up to the airstrip basically for a potential landing zone for like life flight situations, because it's close to the ice cave, Myers Beach. So that's done, but there's gonna be, I mean, we might wanna end up putting no parking sign up there or something too, but we don't need to approve that, but that'll be something that might happen. So I'm part of this, I didn't think to put on the agenda, but it is related, is the porta potties. We need to, if this does happen, we're gonna need to get those. And like I said, this could, for 14 days of service every day, this could cost us like $4,300. But we don't know if that's gonna happen or not, or how busy it's gonna be, I have no idea. But if this is gonna happen, I do suggest we get at least 2 here and 2 at the waterfront. And if need be, we might get 4 at each location so that they don't need to get serviced every day or something, but as of now, that's what I'm bringing to the board, is 2 at each location. Do you have something?
Yeah, I was just saying for porta potties as well as parking, for Main Street, porta potties might be a consideration so they don't swamp us at farmhouse as well as use the ponchos. And then also maybe putting up signage where no shuttle parking on Main Street to allow continuous flow of parking for the businesses or whoever opens. Just food for thought.
Not a bad idea. We talked about that. The location of porta potties is gonna be almost impossible because parking is gonna be number 1. So we had no place to put them, was our conundrum, I guess. But that's a possibility if need be. I think we can do that. But I just don't know what's gonna happen.
Did they give you any indication when they might make a decision whether to go?
We have a meeting on Thursday, and they've been very clear to be unclear. They're not giving any dates, times, or it's just monitoring the situation. So
We don't have any staff either. Well, I guess I'll move that we get between 4 and 8 porta potties, depending on how needed. And we'll, it might start off slow and it might build, and we might have to add some in later. So I'll move that we get at least 4 and have be prepared to rent 4 more.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, that motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. There's no opposed.
Myers Beach's bathrooms open?
No.
They're gonna do the same thing we're doing. Okay. Porta potties, I believe. That covers most of the parking, or all the parking situations that we initially have anticipated. So is there any other concerns from the board, questions or ideas? We're gonna have to work through a lot of things, just a sec.
Have you thought about would this building be inundated? People warming up or using
That's
facilities?
That's a good question. We're trying to avoid that. So our plan is, of course, to have the parking in the back and to have the shuttle pickup back here. We've discussed that already, and try to keep people out of this parking lot and keep the building open for the activities that are ongoing in our community, to keep it still available for the community. So don't know exactly how that's gonna look, but that's our plan, is to keep things back there, keep the shuttle back there, keep the parking lot and the building open for regular stuff.
Do we have to have a sign there indicating that?
I'm sure we're gonna have to come up with a lot of signs, yeah.
Just saying, I know human nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'm not laughing.
Signs don't, that doesn't mean
Not the
me.
people read signs.
That doesn't mean me.
It doesn't mean.
Oh, shit.
All right, so, Matt, did you have anything else? No? Okay, that's all I got, so if there's nothing else from the board, we will move on.
I just want to thank you guys for thinking ahead and getting ready for this.
Hopefully it does something.
Yeah.
Well, just my blanket statement is at least we have a plan.
Yeah, some kind of.
May not execute another concept plan, but you.
When it just blew up in everybody's. So I mean, everybody's trying to anticipate. We're gonna have to be able to adapt and change as we go, but I mean, there's a plan in place and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard to enforce the no parking, but.
Well, the no parking, we're gonna have to enforce, because that's gonna become an issue for emergency services, so if we have to have, I mean, towing is gonna be part of this. The county's already coming up with a plan for towing and even shuttling people to their towed cars where they can pay to get their car back. So we're gonna probably need to get on some kind of program with that too as we go, because we're gonna need access to streets, houses.
Yeah.
So that part will have to be enforced, but the pay part is, people have to be as honest as we can expect.
Well, exactly, yeah. We can contract with all the local tractors.
Well, and Jake Benson from County Highway has been very good in the communication process here. And he has had meetings with the Sheriff's Department. Cornucopia will have a heightened enforcement area up here, along with the State Patrol for Highway 13.
Okay.
So our county commissioner is basically all but assured me and Matt that Bayview County deputies will be enforcing as much as they can around here. I mean, this isn't gonna be an optional thing. It's gonna be what they get instructed to do. So.
Just thinking, you might need to tow 20 cars at a time.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the UDC inspection cost update. I think Rob had talked to everybody here, is that correct? I know he was trying to reach out to everybody on the board. Maybe he didn't get a hold of everybody, Jesse? Okay. Okay, I know he asked me for phone numbers and stuff, so. Well, anyway, he said he couldn't be here tonight, but he's our UDC building inspector, for those that don't know. Inspector Rob Agency does our UDC 1 and 2 family dwelling inspections, and has for, I don't know, 15 years roughly. So he is proposing a cost increase for his business, basically, for what he gets paid for inspections. And I'll give you a brief overview of what he had sent us. It's a $725 base price for up to 800 square feet. It's 45 cents per square foot after 800 square feet. It's 25 cents per square foot of non-finished areas, including attached garages, breezeways, porches, decks, and unfinished basements. That's the basic cost breakdown. So he's asking for approval on that. If everybody did not see this, I will read the rest of these fees. The top part, what I just said, is the baseline part. Then there's fees for a duplex dwelling shall be calculated as a single family dwelling. fees for manufactured modular dwellings shall be 3/4 of the normal fee for any closed panel manufactured areas and full fees for site-built areas. Fees for dwellings without plumbing and electrical systems shall be 3/4 of the normal fee. Fees for dwellings started prior to the earlier of permit issuance or prior to 10 business days after permit application and no review action has been taken shall be an additional 25% of the normal fee. Fees for any separate footing and foundation approval shall be $200. When a permit is more than 2 years old and either the dwelling exterior is not completed or there is unfinished critical health or safety items, a fee of 25% of the normally applicable fees will be due. Fees for any UDC new dwelling solar system plan review, inspection, and utility approval shall be $300. Permit applications will be charged $33 for the Wisconsin UDC permit seal. Detached garages with no bedroom or provision for sleeping quarters are not included in the UDC building permit. So,
I guess my ignorance is that I don't know why we have to approve a private company's rates.
because we hired him to enforce, to do the inspections in the town of Bell. Every municipality has to hire their inspector. And then the homeowner pays these fees, but we approve who is our inspector. And he has been a good inspector for us. So,
Very much so.
How long's it been since he's increased his fees?
he said he never has since he started, and I don't, that's not in this email. It's been almost 20 years, I think.
Okay.
So,
I'll make a motion that we approve this new fee structure based on the numbers he provided.
I'll second
everybody's liking that one.
That's good.
All right, the motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say aye. All right, renewal of the MOU with Bayfield Area Trails. I'll have, Gordy, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, we were entertained by Peter at our Parks and Lands meeting last Friday. And back in 2021, we signed a MOU agreement with, the town signed it with Bayfield Area Trails. And it's time for a renewal of that memorandum of understanding. And I'm just gonna let Peter present what this entails, and then we can have a discussion. If you would do that, please, Peter.
Sure. And Peter Opie, and I've been the representative for the town of Bell on the Bayfield Area Trails since 2022. And the memorandum of understanding just kind of describes the general structure and purpose of Bayfield Area Trails. And part of the MOU is just that it needs to be renewed every 5 years. So, and it's a pretty innocent document. It starts out saying there's a non-binding thing. There's no funding attached to it. If there's projects that come up within the involved members that they want to participate in funding, that's good, but it's totally voluntary. The organization has grown a lot. The first concept started in 2019. The first MOU was 2021. Town of Bell joined in 2022. And since then, the city of Washburn joined. The town of Bayview has joined. And then there's just other changes within the MOU, which more have to do with just an organization growing up. There's a new mission and vision statement. One of the things that I was involved in and encouraged was originally, it really kind of centered around the city of Bayfield. And I helped get it so that it was more in the Bayfield Peninsula. It's not Bayfield County, it's just the peninsula. They're just new subcommittees, planning subcommittee, financing and fundraising. We established a fiscal sponsorship with recreational fitness resources in Bayfield so people can donate and have a tax deductible. So it's things like that. It really doesn't change the relationships of the collaborators. And the collaborators include like a Landmark Conservancy, the tribe, city of Bayfield, and other local townships. So mostly, I guess my question is, well, if you people have questions about it or you need more information.
What's the purpose of us signing this?
The main commitment is you send me to their meetings. So I'm sentenced to the meetings. There are a lot of being part of Bayfield Area Trails has allowed us to bring more volunteers in. Like when we've been working on Orchard, and volunteers from the greater population of Bayfield Area Trails volunteers, in addition to Cornucopia the Trails Club volunteers have participated. I don't know if you recall 2 years ago in July, there was a big storm and there was a lot of washout at Scituate Falls. And we worked with the county on taking care of that. In fact, there was supposed to be a filming a week later and we got it all cleaned up and Gordo participated, Roger and other people. So it's mostly to get the expertise and to know what's going on. Like the county is looking at Lost Creek Falls. They want to increase the trail. They want to turn it into a loop, which I think is a good idea. And I view the trails not as a resource for visitors, although they do contribute to business activity in this area, but for local people to use the trails. And it's not just hiking, it's also, at least there's some interest in biking and other things too. So, did I answer your question there?
I believe so.
Okay.
And just as an aside to this, Parks and Lands did pass it on to board with their blessing. They felt it should be renewed. So.
Yeah, I'll make a motion, we approve the MOU from the 5-year session. So, okay.
The motion is made and seconded. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. Aye. That's all we got. So,
Can I just mention, Bayfield Area Trails too, they're doing a long-term planning. And we're gonna come back just with a plan, just for a similar non-binding approval, just to the concepts. And that should be, later this year, but just as FYI that would be coming up.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Peter.
Public comment period? Any public comments? Any public comments? All right.
Oh, I got one. I should have brought it up.
You're not part of the public?
Well, I should have brought this up after board comments and I just forgot. Nancy Moy has taken hold of the sign committee and they formed a committee and they are actively working toward getting a design and getting people involved and moving it forward. So it's in good hands and it's moving right along. So
excellent. Thank you.
That's all I got.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Hi, Dave Dory. Oh, yeah.
Oh, for
Yes. Great to have you.